Would you believe me if I told you that in one North Atlanta suburb, 800,000 gets you a nearly brand new luxury home with a pool, but in another suburb with the same budget, you might get a 1980s fixer-upper on a small lot? And this is one of the biggest shocks for people who are relocating here to North Georgia. Today, I'm breaking down exactly what 800,000 gets you across the North Atlanta area in suburbs that I mainly cover, like Buford, Sugar Hill, Duluth, Dacula, and Flowery Branch, and the differences are usually way bigger than most people actually expect. We're talking things like square footage, lot sizes, schools, amenities, commute differences, luxury level, and where your money stretches the furthest. If you're moving to North Atlanta with this budget and you're trying to figure out where you should buy, this video is going to save you a lot of time. So, first off, why are we even talking about this $800,000 range specifically? Because honestly, here in the North Atlanta area right now, this is kind of a higher end sweet spot for most people. Around this price point, you start to enter into things like luxury neighborhoods, top school districts, newer construction, swim and tennis communities, three-car garages, finished basements, sometimes even pools, and bigger lots. But here's the catch: North Atlanta is not one market. Some people often think, oh, all these suburbs are close together and 800,000 gets me roughly the same. But in reality, two homes priced at 800,000 can feel completely different depending on where and how you look. Things like county taxes, school districts, proximity to Atlanta, age of a neighborhood, and overall demand completely change what that 800,000 will get you in each suburb. So let's break it down. For each of these suburbs, I'm going to be putting a real example on the screen that has recently closed around this price point so you can start to get the picture of what we're talking about. First off, we're going to start with Duluth. Duluth is one of the most established and popular suburbs here in Gwinnett County, especially for buyers who are looking for walkability, restaurants, good commuting access, and a more mature, established feel. Now, here's the reality with 800,000 here in Duluth. You are paying a location premium. So what does that look like? Typically, around 800,000 in Duluth, you're looking at 3,000 to 4,200 square feet, often built in the late 90s or early 2000s, smaller lots, more established trees and neighborhoods, and potentially renovated interiors. Now, if you're somewhere near downtown Duluth, Peachtree Industrial, or closer towards the Johns Creek territory, these prices can sometimes go even higher. One of the biggest reasons people choose Duluth at this price point is because of the lifestyle. You're getting amazing food, community events, concerts, parks, better commute access, and a more connected suburban feel. But compared to farther out suburbs, you're usually sacrificing lot size, newer construction, or overall square footage. So now let's talk Sugar Hill. This is one of the fastest growing suburbs people relocating here are asking about. And honestly, Sugar Hill is kind of a middle ground. It is a very balanced $800,000 market. Here in Sugar Hill, 800,000 is often getting you newer homes, 4,000 plus square feet, nicer communities, better amenities, and more modern layouts compared to Duluth. A lot of the homes here were built from 2015 to now. So a lot of these buyers are loving the open floor plans, tall ceilings, oversized kitchens, home offices, and larger owner suites. At 800,000 in Sugar Hill, you're often finding 5 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, basements, 3-car garages, swim and tennis communities, and maybe even partial lake proximity. And one reason Sugar Hill has exploded recently is the fact that it still feels newer and cleaner to most relocating buyers. You also have things like the Bowl at Sugar Hill, downtown development, golf cart feel in most areas, and strong Gwinnett schooling. Now, when you compare this to Duluth, you are generally getting more house for the money, but compared to things like Dacula or Flowery Branch, you may still pay a little more because of the location and demand. For location number 4, we're going to look at what 800,000 gets you here in Buford, Georgia. Buford has high demand in school premiums, and it's interesting because it really depends on where you buy in Buford. Because right now, Buford really has multiple markets happening at once. If you're zoned for Buford City schools, that alone can dramatically increases the prices here. At 800,000 here in Buford, you might see 3,500 to 5,000 square feet, newer construction, luxury finishes, larger homes, but prices jump quickly in some of these top areas. One 800,000 Buford home may be fully updated near Lake Lanier with a finished basement, while another may be brand new construction but on a much smaller lot because of the school demand. These Buford buyers right now are still prioritizing schooling, shopping access, Mall of Georgia area, Lake Lanier access, and new communities. And honestly, Buford right now is one of the strongest relocation markets because it checks a lot of boxes. Now we're going to move on and look at Dacula. And if your goal is the biggest and newest home for your money, this is going to be your location. At 800,000 in Dacula, you can get a lot of house. We're talking 4,500 to even 6,000 plus square feet, large lots, new builds, luxury finishes, maybe even a pool, and potentially a fully finished basement. We're looking at things like 6 bedrooms, massive kitchens, media, gym rooms, covered patios, huge backyards, but there's always trade offs. Dacula is much further from Atlanta, so the buyers that are choosing Dacula are usually prioritizing space, value, newer communities, and a quiet suburban living. Your commute matters. And if you work remotely, Dacula may feel like a steal. But if you need daily access to Atlanta, you may start valuing areas like Duluth or Sugar Hill more. Our final location is going to be Flowery Branch. And right now, this is probably one of the most underrated markets, especially for buyers who are wanting Lake Lanier access, scenic areas, newer homes, and slightly less congestion. At the same price point here in Flowery Branch, we're looking at 4 to 5 bedrooms, 4,000 plus square feet, upgraded kitchens, outdoor living spaces, and more privacy. The vibe here in Flowery Branch feels a little different. It's less dense, a little more relaxed, and more nature focused. Now, here's the biggest mistake we see relocating buyers make when it comes to this decision. They are only looking at the square footage of homes. And we can tell you that the happiest buyers we help choose homes based on their lifestyle first. Because the reality is, a 5,500 square foot home doesn't matter if you hate the commute, and a smaller home in the right location can massively improve your quality of life. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight into what 800,000 gets you here across the North Atlanta area, because the differences are usually a little bit bigger than most people expect. If you got any value or knowledge from this video and you enjoyed the watch, make sure you like and subscribe, because I'm going to continue to make videos just like this, talking about what it's really like to live here in the North Atlanta area. Remember that you are loved, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.